Was Bernie Madoff a sociopath? While the available records do not offer a clinical diagnosis, his behavior paints a vivid picture of a highly manipulative and predatory con man who orchestrated the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Madoff operated with a calculated duality. To the public and his victims, he projected an unassuming and reserved personality, which made him seem like a safe, conservative choice. People who met him often found him standoffish, yet he was a super manipulator who intentionally cultivated an aura of exclusivity. By turning investors away, he made them feel they had to be very special to gain access to his inner circle, convincing them he was doing them a benefit by accepting their money. And to do that for decades is crazy work. This manufactured exclusivity made clients fiercely loyal, masking a complete lack of remorse. This absolute lack of empathy stands out even when compared to other infamous white-collar criminals, such as the executives behind the Enron fraud of 2001. While historical records outside of our provided sources detail the specific trials of Enron leaders like Andrew Fastow, Kenneth Lay, and Jeffrey Skilling, and note that some of them had mitigating support or philanthropic histories presented at their sentencings, unlike the completely isolated Madoff. The fundamental mechanics of their deceptions were strikingly similar. Both Madoff and Enron relied heavily on structural complexity to confuse outsiders, where Madoff used a fictitious split-strike conversion strategy to hide his manual Ponzi operation. Enron used special purpose entities and off-balance sheet accounting techniques to mask mounting losses and hide debt. Both relied on the fact that complex corporate structures can effectively conceal significant risk. The more confusing it is, the less questions people ask. So what can we do now to stop normalizing this kind of grift and theft? First, we must reject blind leaps of faith. Stop taking everyone at their word about how accomplished they are. The greatest weapon of a con man is inspiring unwavering trust that short-circuits due diligence. We must embrace the fundamental principle that high returns are always shackled to high risks. Madoff's promise of consistent, steady returns with almost no volatility was mathematically impossible and should always be treated as a massive red flag. Second, investors and organizations must demand platinum standard due diligence. Investors must independently verify that an investment uses a legitimate, independent third-party custodian and a highly reputable auditing firm. If you do not understand an investment strategy, you simply should not invest in it. Third, we must fix broken corporate governance and regulatory oversight. Fraud is ultimately a failure of governance, and there has to be real protection for whistleblowers. That doesn't always seem like a priority despite all of the policies in place. Finally, we must actively speak up, demand transparency, and hold institutions accountable to ensure that financial predators can no longer operate in plain sight. But that's easier said than done. Stay vigilant. If you find value in our content, like and subscribe. That gets this information out to more people so we can keep building this channel and exposing the kind of evil. Thank you. See you in the next one.